What is going on, everybody? It is me again. It is HorrorFan34, and welcome to another video, and welcome to day 27 of the 31 Days of Horror Challenge in October. Cannot believe it is dwindling down. I can't believe October is almost over. It's very sad that October is almost over. I've had such a great time doing the horror reviews once again for you guys. I'm really glad to be doing these for you guys. But getting on to the topic at hand here, I couldn't really decide which one I wanted to review next for October, but I figured I'd go with this one because it's kind of a horror film, but it's got, I mean, it pretty much is a horror film, but not like super scary or, you know, things of that nature. But I do think it's a pretty decent movie. If you like obscure things, I think it's from 2005. I think this is a 2005 film. And if you can tell by the title of the video, that review is going to be on Cruel World. Reality TV. Someone had to die. And yes, Edward Furlong is the star of the film. Now, it's pretty weird they have Jamie Presley, like she's marketed as one of the stars. She's in the very beginning for probably 10 minutes, and then she gets killed by Edward Furlong. But the basic idea with the film is that you have a guy named Philip Markham, played by Edward Furlong. He was a guy who was on a dating game show, and he ended up getting rejected by this girl named Catherine, played by Jamie Presley. And basically, you know, he gets rejected, he gets humiliated on public TV, live TV. It's several years later, and Jamie Presley moves into this new home with her husband, but Edward Furlong happens to be there, and he wants revenge, so he ends up killing her husband and taking Jamie Presley captive in this house, and then basically slits her throat in the pool. And then you basically find out that Edward Furlong's character of Philip is holding this reality game show sort of in this house. Like, he's going to run the whole thing. So you have a bunch of kids coming in, 9 people coming in to be participants in this game show. But little do they know that when one of them gets eliminated, they get killed off pretty much, either by Edward Furlong or his brother, which is this guy right up here, this bald-headed guy. And that's pretty much the idea of the film. Now, I think this is a very entertaining movie. I've always really liked Edward Furlong. I know the guy has had a lot of personal problems with drugs and things like that. I know he's gotten to get himself together lately, which is good to see. I've always really liked Eddie Furlong, whether it be like, you know, Terminator 2. My personal favorite of his is Detroit Rock City, because I just love that film to death. One of my favorite comedies. I thought he was also really good in American History X, Brain Scan. I've always really liked Edward Furlong as an actor. I thought he does I think he was a fun villain in this. Jamie Presley, for the little bit she's pretty decent as well. And Eddie Furlong's brother, who was kind of his accomplice, is Daniel Franzese. I think that's how you say his name. He was the guy in Mean Girls, who was one of the friends of Lindsay Lohan. Remember, it was the guy and the girl who were friends with Lindsay Lohan, the bald-headed guy. That's Daniel Franzese. He plays Eddie Furlong's brother. And some of the people that are, you know, some of the participants in the game show, you have Andrew Keegan, who was in 10 Things I Hate About You. I remember him a lot, too, from Camp Nowhere. I'm thinking about dropping out of school next year. He was like the guy that was working on the car and everything, and that's Andrew Keegan. You have Laura Ramsey. You have Susan Ward. Amy Garcia. I know she was in something else, but I cannot remember off the top of my head what she was in. But I know I recognized her name from something else. You know, I have IMDb right here, so let me just look up and see, because so that way I don't forget. But I feel like she was in something else, but I don't want to mess it up though. Just give me 1 second here, guys. Give me 1 second. Hold on one second, guys. Because I feel like I recognize her from something else. Unless it's the Susan Ward character. I gotta see. Nah, you know, maybe it might have been Susan Ward I'm thinking of. I can't remember, but I know I recognize her from a few other things. And one of the other guys is Brian Gregory. He was one of the guys in the Hurt Locker. He was pretty much the main protagonist guy in ATM, who's like the main guy of ATM, the horror film. He's in here. Um, and it's a fun movie. It's like a take on reality TV. You know, Eddie Furlong has some fun moments of dialogue. Eddie Furlong kind of does that Eddie Furlong laugh that Ever Furlong always has, and that's always very entertaining to listen to because of how evil he is in the movie. You get some nice kills in here. You get some pretty grotesque stuff. Like they have this part where they're not really allowed to eat, but then Edward Furlong and them, like Eddie Furlong has like this cow that they have, and they got to reach into this cow's guts and like eat like the guts out of a cow. It's pretty gross. Like, oh, you grab the liver, but you got to grab the stomach, and you know the parts of a cow. You have a pretty cool moment where one of the participants is trying to make a run for it. And Eddie Furlong's chasing after her and basically just chops her head off with a machete, and her head rolls down a hill. You also have a point where a guy gets electrocuted on the fence. You have one guy who gets stabbed in the back. So pretty. It's gory as well. It is R-rated. It's got some good gore in there. And it's an overall really fun, entertaining movie. I mean, if you like those like mid-2000s sort of like horror, it's got bits of horror, bits of comedy in there. I like the back and forth sometimes that Eddie Furlong has with the guy that plays his brother. I really like the chemistry between them. I mean, if you like Eddie Furlong, I definitely recommend giving this a look. If you like him, so if you like Eddie Furlong, it's a fun movie. So that's pretty much it for my review for Cruel World. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.